Trio was the most difficult episode we've done this year.
It is the most logistically complicated episode I have ever been a part of.
That episode was physically demanding on those actors.
You just had the most fun you could possibly have.
Well, we're a very frugal show. We're really smart with our money most of the time. And, you know, for every huge episode that we have, you know, like Adrift, which is, you know, got these massive special effects sequences, huge shots, we need a smaller show to offset the cost of those bigger shows. So we're always on the lookout for shows that could save us a lot of money. These are small, contained episodes that you can usually shoot in less time. They don't require huge special effects, and they're pretty easy to shoot because it's usually just a couple of characters in a room. So we went into this episode thinking, okay, we're going to save $300,000-$400,000. You know, I was a hero. I was championed as a hero. And then as we got deeper and deeper into it, the more complicated logistically this episode became, to the point where it is the most logistically complicated episode I have ever been a part of. Every single thing in that room needed to be designed and then built, and in some cases built in many different versions for these crazy stunts to work.
This show is so dependent on, and I've talked to both Ray and Evil about this. They're so dependent on all these gags being coming to fruition on the day. I think what we really need to do is we need to do as much rehearsal with this stuff, Bam Bam, Ray and Evil, with all these gags, that to make sure that it's going to work.
I mean, quite frankly, we can't be doing these gags for the first time on set. That's what it boils down to. We have to figure out a way that we can get in there before and try everything once. Yeah.
So the whole episode very clearly becomes about, they fall down the well, so to speak, into this room, and they spend the whole episode trying to get out. Simple enough, and the rest is peppered in with, you know, emotional and character stuff. So we all sat down and tried to figure out, okay, what is the action of the episode? You know, you always need Jeopardy in Stargate episodes, whether you like it or not. And so we were going to base it around these stunts of them trying to get out of the room. And then in the figuring out of how to make that episode good, we all got very excited about some things that ended up being very expensive. And you kind of back yourself into corners where you suddenly realize, wait a second, okay, this episode maybe is not cheap. We had, 4 very big stunts. We, increased the room tilt from, only being able to take 8 degrees into continuum to 20 degrees. And then at the end of the day, the whole way to get them out of that room was for them to go down. We didn't have a down, so we had to build this insanely expensive, massive set. What started out as an idea to be very cheap, we kind of got excited by the concept, and it ended up being not only one of our most expensive episodes this year, but it again, one of the most logistically complex.
There's a tendency for people to see difficult as impossible. And what my job and Martin's job was in this was saying, yes, it's difficult. Stop seeing difficult as impossible and make it possible.
The planning is so intricate. Meeting after meeting after meeting just to make sure everyone was on the same page. And then you have James kind of draw off these, here's how it goes, A, B, C, A, B. So it's like you basically create a playbook for the episode. Usually you have kind of a week to get a show up and running. This show took about a month to get up and running. Again, because of so much that needed to get built. Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of bottle episodes is to use sets that you have and to be cheap. And in the movie Continuum, they had built this massive boat set, the back of which they built this, kind of 30-foot cubed room that could tilt on its side. We told everyone, don't take that set down. We're going to use that set. We haven't quite figured it out yet.
So this room was originally built for the movie Continuum, Stargate Continuum. It was designed to tip 8 degrees, but it never quite tipped enough for what we wanted to do with it. So we've raised it an additional 3.5 feet. So the whole set now is up 6.5 feet. And it's on hydraulic pistons that, when they employ, can tip the set up to 20 degrees, which is, substantial.
That's plenty fast, yeah. We're going to be doing camera shake too, right?
Oh, yeah. You're right. I mean, they're going to have to be careful because your head is telling you that you're level here. Costs a lot of money, but I think it's going to be worth it.
We really needed to rely on the tip being very dramatic. And 8 degrees is really hard to read on camera. It's hard to read 20 degrees on camera.
What I learned in Continuum was that no matter how much you gimbal a set, if you don't shoot it right, it doesn't look like it's gimbling.
Well, that's it. I mean, how do you translate that visually when there's no inner ear? We're being very selective with kind of flimsy stuff that we're hanging all the way through so that when it tips, you can get a sense that it's the whole room is actually cocked and it's not just the camera, you know?
On this one, we gimbaled at 22 degrees, so everybody was standing on such an amazing slant. And in order to show that, you have to shoot the camera level to the floor, and then you see people standing at this weird slant.
You know, it became a very complicated thing, and then once we realized, okay, you could actually do it, then we had to bring the special effects guys in, as well as a team of engineers to see if it would be safe. Our sets are built more to code than most houses are, you know, because they have to be.
We've got a lot of engineers in here making sure that we're not going to kill anybody when we suddenly cock this whole, you know, multi-ton room 20 degrees.
And that was just to get it to tilt. Everything else, you know, what happened inside the box, the actual body of the episode, you know, we were just getting started.